So recently, I've become super interested in this this online tool. It's called Bitsy Game Maker. I call it it's a game maker, but it's more like a level editor for online HTML games. And it's very simple. This is what the editor looks like. You can head to itch.io if you want. There's actually a special page for it. They have Bitsy game jams there. It's a really simple tool for really simple games. You can put some sprites, dialogue, all the things. And I really like it because with these simple tools, you can make a really cool story and a really fun experience. So after playing around with it for a while, I decided to try my hand at making something similar to this, but inside of Minecraft. So this is what the editor actually looks like. In-game in Minecraft, it's pretty simple. This is a blank texture, just for a basic room. Each room is 16 by 16 blocks, and the first tool you have is new room. You can create rooms by clicking on the side of one. That creates a room on that side. If you right click on an already existing room, that will delete it. There's the duplicate room tool. Well, first let's actually make something in this room so we can duplicate it. We'll just put some walls here. These walls look like this right now. They're just a black and white border, but you actually won't be able to see them in game. I will show that a little bit later. And because of that, it would be a good idea to lay out the room before you start making it. Whoops, duplicate room. Right click to duplicate a room, and then when you place a new room with this tool, it will just have whatever is in that duplicated room. Okay, so as I said earlier, if I hop into playtest mode by typing in /trigger plate, you cannot see the actual tiles there. There's my little avatar guy. Because you can't see the walls, it's a better idea to make a texture before you start doing that. To add in textures to your room, go unpack the resource pack, navigate to textures, room, and put in all your textures there. Requirements for these textures are, well, they gotta be square, like all Minecraft textures. They can be animated, if you know how to do that. I suggest you make them a multiple of 16 because each room is 16 blocks wide. And you have to name them a positive integer. I've named these 1 and 2. The reason for that is because when you go to try to apply the textures in game, like this, all you have to do is type in /trigger room texture and then that integer that you named it. Set 1 is the first room I put in, and bam, texture is in the game. Looks like this. And now if I try to play it, although I can't see the walls, the texture tells me where the walls are. And in edit mode, I can just build around the room that I drew beforehand. Okay, heading back into edit. Let's go through some of the other tools you get. This is a room exit. This will bring you to the first tile of the next room. So pointing this way, the first tile of the next room is right here. This is the tile. If you walk onto that room exit, you'll be brought to this tile. Okay, let's just see that in action. Trigger play, enter playtest mode, and if I walk onto it, I'll be brought here. I can actually just walls don't exist. Let's put in the texture for the second room real quick, so I know where the walls are. Room texture, whoops, set 2. Okay, since walls don't exist, you gotta make sure to put walls, around whatever you want to put walls around. Otherwise, players will be able to just wander off the map, go walk into the void, do whatever. Now, that room exit right now brings us to this tile, but our room is over here. We want to be brought to that tile right there. So we can use this tool called tile skip and point it all the way over here. Tile skips will transport you instantaneously to whatever they're pointed at. So now this tile it's gonna bring me all the way up there. Let's try it. Trigger play, and if I walk here, I'll be instantly brought here instead. Okay. All right. Next, let's say I want to make this doorway go down into this room right here. It's in the same room, so I can use room skip, I suppose. There's a few ways to do this. If you really want to use room exit, sorry, you can do this, point it over here, create a new room that the player won't even see, and use Taos Cube in the edge of this room to point it back and into that room. You can do that. Or another way, without creating a new room and putting all those Taos Cubes, is just point it down. Taos Cube has its border around it like the wall does, but if you right click it, it removes that. So you can toggle the sort of the solidity of it. It can be solid or not solid. Now I can actually walk onto this tile and it'll behave regularly. It's just gonna TP me down. All right, next let's check out how dialogue works with the kitty here. Now you want to put a wall here because you don't want to trample the kitty, right? Dialogue can only be put on top of something. Usually it's going to be a wall or maybe a room exit. When you put a dialogue here, you see it's blank, it's empty. You can edit that with the edit dialogue option that's right next to it. That's going to bring up a book. Now, a thing you need to know about this is every 2 pages of this book makes up one single page in the dialog box. The first page is the top half of the dialog box. The second page is the bottom half. Let's see how this looks like with 2 pages. I just enter playtest, walk down, go talk to the kitty. Hi, I'm a cat. Now you don't have to fill all the all 2 pages, all the lines. You can do something like I can only fill page 1 and go to page 3. This will be the first half of the second dialog box, and then I can skip to page 5, the first half of the third dialog box. You can write something like this, and when you go to playtest, all right, we don't need to start all the way up there. And we go talk to the cat. Hi, I'm a cat, and that's the third dialog box. Okay, now there's something you don't want to do with this. Oh, by the way, it's a lectern. That's why you put a book in it. You don't want to leave this empty. That's a bad idea. And also, you don't want to put a completely empty book in it. Like if I don't put anything, absolutely nothing, put it there, and I hop into play, I've frozen the game. I can't do anything. I can't move anymore. I can't get out of the dialogue. That's because it's trying to finish the dialogue, but there's nothing to finish. Instead, if you really, really want an empty dialogue box, put a space in it. It's that simple. And now if I try to talk, now if I try to talk to the cat, it's going to show up an empty dialog box, and I can get out of it like regularly. Okay, now let's talk about the end, the game ending. I'm going to duplicate this room. It keeps the texture as well, actually, when you duplicate a room. So a room ending just resets the game, basically. If you walk onto that tile, you'll be brought back to the beginning, in the middle of the center of the first room. These black things are they're annoying in edit mode, but in play mode they're essential because it stops you from seeing the void and other rooms around. So that's why they're there, because you're above and these render. So when you're in edit mode, just don't look up. You're fine. Okay, now here's another trick you can do. Let's say I want talking to this cat will bring me down. I can do this. Dialogue is put on top of that the room exit, and I want it to, okay, that will take me to this tile right here, and I want it to go to the top corner of this room. Let's do that. All right, that will work, but if I don't want it to bring me to that top corner, what if I wanted to bring me to the bottom corner instead of this tile to this tile right here? I can of course just drag the tile skips all the way around. I can do that. Or here's a trick you can do. Instead of using tile skips here, I can right click this to set it to 2. That will skip 2 rooms. You can also go up to all the way up to 4. So with the room exit, you can tell it to skip the next room as well. And that's going to bring me down to this tile right here, where the arrow points 2 rooms, the first tile there. And I can just use tile skips to go around like this instead of placing these all over the room. Now if I go play this whole thing again, this will bring me to the top half of this. Going down the stairs brings me down. When I talk to the kitty with a blank dialog box, this is the end tile, and it will reset the game. That's how that works. All right. Now let's say you finished everything. This is your game. You're happy with it. There's no typos or anything in the dialogue, and you want to publish it so others can play it, and you don't want them to see the edit mode. You don't want them to see all the background stuff. One thing you need to know when you're doing that is the player will spawn on this tile right here. If I actually, you can reset a room texture by setting it to -1, but this tile, in the middle of the first room, bottom left corner of the middle, that's where it spawns when you publish the map. So you can use a tile skip, point it somewhere immediately. So when they spawn in, they're brought somewhere else, but just know they spawn here. That way, you don't start off the game by building off in a corner and, ignoring the middle, like, up there. Don't do that. The player spawns in the middle. To publish it, all you have to do is type /function b:/publish. This is not undoable. Once you hit this, that's it. There's no going back. Now you've published it. Well, I've forgotten to set the texture back, and I can't do that anymore because there is no more edit mode. I can't set the room texture back. I'm just gonna have to live with this. And the game will go on like this, and you can't enter edit mode in any way. You can go to the end and it'll reset to the beginning in that middle bottom left tile every time. If you quit the world, escape, re-enter, it's gonna restart the game right back in the beginning. Even if you're say in the halfway through the game in the middle of dialogue and you quit the world and join back, it's just gonna bring you back to the beginning. One more thing I forgot to show. Don't do this. You have 2 tile skips pointing towards each other. Don't do that. That's gonna create an infinite loop. And when you start playing here, and I'm gonna walk into it, all right, I frozen the game. It's frozen. Look at this. See, look what you've done. Now you've done it. You've broken the game.